How are y'all doing today, YouTube? About to start this show doing my podcast. I'm gonna go live too. All right, we're gonna talk about it today. We're gonna talk about playing chess versus playing Connect Four with the bottom missing. Playing Connect Four with the bottom missing versus playing chess. You know, many of us are playing Connect Four with the bottom missing. You know, Connect Four, when you put the chips on the top and they go to the bottom, you fill up the spaces, similar to tic tac toe. But we're playing Connect Four, but the bottom's going. So when we put a chip on the top, the chip rolls on the floor, and we just keep doing the same thing over and over again, not realizing we got to close the bottom up. That's what we're doing. Most of us are operating from an emotional standpoint, and we're using what's up, real Nancy, and we're using the our emotions to justify what's taking place. I just saw somebody post a video of the police trying to, um, I guess, issue a search warrant or get someone out the house, and the guy just started shooting, and we just started celebrating. And it's funny that the media never shows you the what the police go through. Like the media never shows you how intense it is to be a police officer. What they do is they just show you that police officers kill melanated people, which is not a contextually accurate statement. Probably about 99% of police homicides involve someone that has a weapon, a deadly weapon. They're not going to tell you that though. They don't ever show you when white people get killed by the police. They don't show you when Hispanic people get killed by the police. They don't show you when Asian people get killed by the police. They just show you when one group of people get killed by the police, and you all don't think it's a setup. It just baffles my mind that you all don't think it's a setup when they're only showing you a portion of the whole picture. They don't show you when police officers get killed. I just watched a video. The police were there asking the man to come out. They wasn't barging in. They wasn't charging in. The door was open. They stayed outside on the porch. They asked nicely. Dude came out busting. They're not going to show you that though. They're not going to show you that for a reason because they want you to build up an inferiority complex in yourself. You see, racism now, what you all know, racism now is you perpetuating it on yourself. So they make you believe that you're inferior to white people. And so then you'll go out there and you'll be upset. So when you see someone that's white, when we get upset, we're not upset because they did us wrong. We're upset because we associate white person with oppression. If you do that subconsciously, you're looking at yourself as inferior. So what you're feeling is anger because you feel like that white person is above you. Let me let y'all hear Dick Gregory for a second talk about this. And I thought what he said was very good because he kind of contextualized what I've been talking about. Um, Let me try to go to it real quick. Let y'all listen to Dick Gregory real quick. And I'll be cutting it out with Dick Gregory. Uh,
When I wake up in the morning, my prayer, and I thank God I woke up, the Ku Klux Klan woke up this morning. The drug pushers woke up this morning. I thank God that I made another 24
oh, sorry about that.
hours in the most vicious, nasty, hateful, insane nation that's ever existed with my wits, without hating, without being bitter, without being mean. And I thank God that I survived 24 hours in that type of atmosphere with the type of amusement and friendliness. And so I would say to young folks, don't be in a state of denial of the racism and sexism. But don't let that block you. Don't teach your children that you have to be twice as good as a white. That's an awful thing to teach your children. That's like saying because you're black, white America has a right to change your dollar for 94 cents. But we used to get 50 cents, and before that, we used to get nothing. Young folks have to say, we don't want more change for a dollar. We want $4 change for a dollar, or this cash register will never ring again. Yes. I would also like for young blacks to understand that about 83% of all employment happen with small businesses. And if you don't have a small business, then you have nobody to work for you. And I would say to young blacks, get into entrepreneurship. We will never catch up with white America until we get into business, because there's a thing called tax write-offs. And if you have a job and come together, 10 of you, and open up a corporation and have somebody run it, you hire somebody to run it, but you have tax write-offs. 98% of people that fly first class on airplanes would not be there if that wasn't a write-off. And yet, on that first class, they gave away last year $800 million, almost $1 billion of free whiskey. But if a welfare mother asked for some apple juice for the baby, she's laughed at. And so I would say entrepreneurship, and then understand that.
Okay, let me stop right there. So I'm going to take it a step further, and I'm going to say that there shouldn't be a game where we are trying to catch up with white people. Again, that is still an inferiority complex. So my goals and aspirations in life can't be dictated, or should not be dictated, by what white people do, because you make white people the measuring stick. And if white people are the measuring stick, then white people become your God, because you're always looking to them to see what you're going to do with your life. So my recommendation is, you don't have to do anything trying to outdo white people or trying to beat white people. Now, I like what he said about not telling your children they have to work twice as hard as a white person to do something. This is all psychologically damaging, because it tells your children that they are inferior. If you tell your child they have to work harder than a white person, you're telling them that they are inferior to white people, because they have to do more work just to do what white people do at a normal rate. So the main goal to me is to get rid of all this psychological damage, is to first to stop comparing and contrasting between what white people do and what we do. What you do for your life should not even be compared for your own nationality or your own race. What you do for your life should be for your life. You understand what I'm saying? That means I'm not saying I'm doing this for black people. No, I'm doing this for me and my family and my legacy. Because we have something called black culture. And if we do something for black people, we're doing something for black culture, that's going to be detrimental. They convinced us, and 100 Days of Summer says this, and I thought it was a very profound quote. 100 Days of Summer said, they convinced us to be one person. So that means, I just had a guy tell me he was in a class and, getting his master's, he was in a class, and there were 5 melanated men in the class. 4 of them quit. So he felt the pressure and said he couldn't quit the class because it was all the white people left in the class, and he didn't want to look bad. Think about this. Think about how inferior you must feel in your mind to think that if you don't want to take a class, you have to take a class just based on what some white strangers may think about you. Do you understand what I'm talking about? It's an inferiority complex. All these movements out here that we've seen, all of these movements we've seen with our people, at the core of them came from inferiority, feeling inferior to white people. When I wake up in the morning and go outside, I'm not thinking about what white people are doing. But we have built an entire culture that says you can't say this in front of white people. You can't do this in front of white people. There are people that won't even eat watermelon and fried chicken in front of white people, as if everyone doesn't like fried chicken and watermelon. I was at the gym one time, And I literally saw some people there. They have like a little smoothie shop there, and they're Korean. I remember years ago, that lady, her whole family came to that gym where the tables are in the front, and they ate. And guess what they was eating? Right down the street is Kentucky Fried Chicken. It was a Korean family, and they were dining over a bucket of KFC chicken, the mashed potatoes, the green beans, the wedges, the biscuits. They had it all. A Korean family, and they ate that chicken proudly because they were in America visiting and they wanted to have some fried chicken. Now, many of us have a complex and feel a certain type of way about eating the fried chicken in front of white people. That's because it's inferiority complex. We feel inferior. Subconsciously, look at somebody said on here, we ate Popeyes. I know. We making this stuff a thing because of inferiority. So I don't believe in I gotta do something to keep up with white folks. I don't care about keeping up with nobody. I care about doing what God wants me to do in my life. And this is where we got to get back to. We got to get back to eating watermelon and fried chicken in public. We got to get back to doing that because we used to eat fried chicken and watermelon, and we did it proudly because Big Mama fried the chicken and Papa grew the watermelon. So we felt proud to eat the watermelon and the fried chicken. But now we got an inferiority complex, and they'll tell me that I can't call out Deontay Wilder for having poor character just because he fought somebody white. Look at the insanity. Because he fought Tyson Fury, who's white, I can't call Deontay Wilder out on poor sportsmanship and poor character. And I told you all, Deontay Wilder is a reflection of what Black people, melanated people, have become in America. It's all show, it's all flash, it's all the exterior. That's what Black culture is. It's not rooted in anything. And the moment that Deontay Wilder lost, the moment in the first fight of the trilogy that Tyson Fury got up off that canvas, I saw Deontay Wilder's face. If you go watch my video, he was shaking, he was ooh. And then when he stood up, his whole attitude changed, his whole demeanor changed. The look on his face was like, oh my goodness, he got up. He lost the trilogy in that fight. Because think about it, he really lost the first fight. But what I'm telling you all is, you'll tell me I can't call him out because he fought somebody white. Then you'll tell me something like, well, he used to work at a fast food restaurant because he had 3 daughters. Like it's supposed to matter. So what? Stop with this whole victimization story of our people. Our people come from greatness. Why are we being reduced to all these hood stories and these? Why? I don't care if he had 3 children and he should have been married and had a family with it. He should have prepared to have children. We talk about Planned Parenthood. Planned Parenthood got us, the irony of the name, Planned Parenthood got us aborting our children over 1,000 a day when we should be planning to be parents. You see how they do? You see how the evil do? They put the righteous choice in front of you, plan to be a parent, but then they have you do something evil. They put the right choice in front of you, Planned Parenthood. You should be planning to be a parent, but then they do something evil and diabolical. So Planned Parenthood, got y'all doing something evil and sinful, even though the title is righteous. You should be planning to be a parent. But y'all don't want to hear that because they've convinced you that when you look like me, you have to fit inside a certain box. This is why they want you to check that box. What are you? They'll even say, are you Black? Are you non-Hispanic, Black? Like they'll just ask you specific questions because they want you to be in the box. I have a t-shirt on by this young man right here, Motivated Entrepreneur Individuals. You can't see it on my podcast, you guys, but Motivated Entrepreneur Negro Individuals. He's out of the Bay Area, out of Oakland. But he sent me some clothes and it says, education matters. Education matters, but not going to the school. Educate yourself. So your children should get their first foundational piece of education at home before they go to the school. The problem is we used to teach our children at home, then send them to school. So the school propaganda couldn't really affect our children as much. But then they did some genius and they said, well, let's get rid of prayer in school. Why did they get rid of prayer in school before they integrated the schools? Just think. Why did they get rid of prayer in the school before they integrated the school? As I've said this many a times, they couldn't have melanated teachers praying for all the students. They couldn't have the white teachers praying for all the students. They couldn't have the principals in the school praying for all the students, because we all know that prayer does what? Prayer changes things. Belief changes things. Faith changes things. So we got to get rid of prayer out of the school to implement this propaganda. And in 1970, progress in our community stopped. Progress in our community stopped. So what you all don't realize is that all this propaganda out here with this media is designed to make you feel inferior. I just saw a clip. I'm gonna play this clip. A young lady has a movie out that she's doing, and it's called the Anti-White Movie.
Across America, white people are being attacked in the streets and in the media.
So we have to stop demonizing people and realize the biggest terror threat in this country is white men. Most of them radicalized right up to the right.
White teenager with special needs tied up and beaten as a group of young African Americans shouting anti-white slurs and calling out Donald Trump.
It shows an 18-year-old victim who was tied and gagged. The suspect put a knife to his throat at different points in this video. They make him drink from the toilet. They shout expletives against white people and against the president-elect. 2020 was weird. Racially charged protests and riots burned cities across America. America was accused of being a racist country.
The real religion, the real politics in America is whiteness and whiteness unhinged.
While most people thought the racially charged protests and influence would quiet down after the 2020 election, instead, the culture of America appears changed to its core.
Burning down shit ain't gonna help nothing. Don't burn it down shit we need in our community. Take that shit to the suburbs. Burn that shit down.
What started as an awareness campaign.
So now many of you all will say, well, the anti-white movie is racist, because you all can't conceptualize the media having an agenda of an anti-white. The media has had, the powers that be have had a media, an agenda that was anti-Asian, that was anti-black, that was anti-immigrant, that was anti-Polish, that was anti-Jewish. Now it's anti-white. What y'all don't realize that the same people that are telling you about racism in America are the same people with this Peter pandemic. The same people that tell you that a man can have a baby are the same people telling you that white people are racist. It's the same people. They don't care about none of this stuff. The goal of it is division. They want us divided. You all keep telling me divide and conquer, but I realize something, that divide and conquer for most of you all only matters when your feelings aren't involved. Meaning, if the media is telling you something about white people, you'll accept it if it's negative. Not realizing it's the same people. So they've been playing chess for centuries. They have mastered chess. We're playing Connect Four, and the bottom is falling out. The whole bottom is falling out. Somebody said on my YouTube channel, may have to disagree with the whole prayer works thing. If it truly worked, we wouldn't have world hunger, or locally, over 3,000 children go missing a month in America. It's more than just praying. Now, this is what happens, and this is where emotions get involved. Now, you can pray for something. You can pray that you get a job, right? then you can go out there and not look for a job. So what we're conditioned to think is our emotions override God's law, universal law, natural law, and etc. That's not how that works. So even though someone prays, you can sabotage your prayer. And your prayer doesn't mean it's an immediate prayer. So she said there are 3,000 children that go missing a month, but it could be 6,000 if we didn't pray. It could be 10,000 if we didn't pray. It could be 20,000 if we didn't pray. Do you understand what I'm saying? You see, most people are conditioned to think that when they do something, the result's supposed to be immediate and how they want it. But that's emotion. This is what they want. They want us to be emotional children out here, and so they can control us. So when they get on TV and tell you that white people are the greatest threat to America, that America is racist, they're telling you this stuff for a reason. And the reason is to get you to go against these white people so that when it's time to fight, you'll side with the government taking away their guns. That's what all this is about. This whole anti-white movement going on is about white people that have guns willing to fight. That's it. It's no deeper than that. They know these white people have been preparing for generations with what's taking place right now. There are white people that have been preparing since the first Civil War. Their family has been preparing generation after generation, family after family. They've been preparing since the last Civil War. So they know those people are prepared to fight. But you and I aren't really prepared to fight. A lot of people in my community tell me that, oh yeah, we're going to fight. We're not going to fight. What we're prepared to do is we're prepared to defend ourselves. We're not prepared to fight. We're not prepared to organize and mobilize and set up a resistance against what's going on. If you look at our community, 99% of our leaders in our community are for the tyranny that's going on. They're for the mandates, the dictates, the communism tyranny. 99% of leaders in our community are pro what's going on. And I told you all before, we are going to be the biggest hindrance in the freedom movement because we are the most easiest controlled. We are easily controlled. Think about it. We don't have a family structure intact. We don't have a nation intact. We don't have any common goals. And we're emotional. Those things right there will make it almost impossible for us to join a freedom movement. With literally everything hanging in the balance, how are we going to be the ones defending America? We're not. So they get us to believe that America is racist. So if America is racist, then why defend it? If America is racist, then why defend it? So when you see these Chinese troops on the streets, you're going to be clapping your hands, not realizing they're coming to put you in bondage. They're coming to put you in a camp. Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you understand what I'm saying? And I get it. I get it. Everybody's looking for a solution, but the solution starts in here. The Bible says that faith without works is dead, and that it is impossible to please God without faith. So that means everybody with a plan out there, it will not succeed unless faith is involved. And most people don't have any faith. They just don't. Most folks don't have any faith. What most folks have is blind hope, meaning I'm a roll the dice and I hope I don't crap out. Most folks roll the dice, hope they don't crap out. Most folks don't roll the dice thinking they're going to win. They roll the dice hoping they don't crap out. You understand what I'm saying? The Bible says it's impossible to please God without faith. So that means that if we aren't exercising faith in everything we do, then that means we aren't pleasing God. And most of us don't please God because we are listening to the media. And the media has one goal in mind, that is division. The media's job is to divide the people. So I'm glad she made an anti-white movement. I can tell you right now, this whole anti-white movement is BS. You just heard Don Lemon on her clip talking about white people, and he's married to a white husband. You just heard Don Lemon talking about how bad white people are in America, and he's married to a white husband. So that should let you know he really doesn't believe in this whole racism thing he's talking about, because if he did, he wouldn't want a dude to be drilling him, and not a white dude. Listen, that's subjective without any statistical data. It could be less if we actually did something about it. This is what I'm saying. Now, this person on here is still trying to combat what I'm saying because her emotions are getting involved. I just said faith without works is dead. So if you go out there and pray for the job, you can't go pray for the job and then not go look for the job. So again, everybody's looking for a way out to what's going on. And at the end of the road, it's that snake bite waiting. Then it's that chip waiting. This is where we are. Everybody wants to combat what I'm saying because they don't want to be forced with the hard truth and the hard choice. And the hard choice is you got to do your job. So I don't care about what they're doing. I got to do what God told me to do. I got to do what God told me to do. And guess what? I know that the prayers of the righteous availeth much. So it sounds like to me, if the prayers aren't availing much, it's because the folks that are praying aren't righteous. So you see, we haven't even seen God's system really works because most of the folks participating in God's system aren't righteous. You got to be in right standing with God for this stuff to work, and most people are not. So all of this media propaganda, I just saw the young man, they said that when he was kidnapped, and they said his organs were missing. And this is another thing too, we don't realize that a lot of this stuff on social media that we put out is a lie. Because the stuff that we put out, again, comes from a place of inferiority. It was the young man that they found that had gone missing, and they were saying that his organs were missing, and it was a lie. His mother came out and said that's a lie. So we created a whole conspiracy theory around this boy missing and tried to make it all glamorous, and to come to find out it's a lie. It is impossible to be righteous and emotional. It is impossible to be righteous and emotional because if you are emotional, you will always choose your feelings over what is right. That's why in the Bible, in the Holy Scripture, God never asked anyone how they felt. If you read the Bible, God never asked anyone how they felt. Why? Because if God asks you how you feel about something, you're going to give an excuse. That's why God doesn't ask. That's why God commands. And God requires you to be obedient to God out of love. So we should be doing things out of love. Again, the prayers of the righteous availeth much. So if your intent is not based in love, then it's not going to go right. If it starts out wrong from the intent in here, it's not going to go right. It's not going to go right. And they don't talk to you all like this because they want you all emotional. They're conditioning you all to look at white people and hate them because they know it's going to be a time where you're going to see these white people fighting, and you're going to already have in your mind they're fighting because they're racist, not that they're fighting for all of our freedoms. You all live in America, and I guarantee none of you all want to leave this country. This is the greatest country on God's green earth. And you know why I say that? I say it's the greatest country because you have the chance. In them other countries, if your great-great-grandmother was poor, you're poor. That's just how it works. In America, your great-great-great-great-grandmother could be a slave and you'd be a millionaire. You'd be a billionaire. Or your great-great-great-great-grandmother could have owned some land and now you broke, struggling. It goes either way. So they want to tell you that capitalism is wrong. Ain't nothing wrong with capitalism. Ain't nothing wrong with capitalism. Ain't nothing wrong with social media. Ain't nothing wrong with the internet. Ain't nothing wrong with none of this stuff out here. These are tools to be used. It's the people using them and what they're using them for that's the problem. They want to convince you that these things are the problem. They're not. It ain't that guns are a problem. It's that when somebody stupid has a gun, that's when it's a problem. It's not the gun. It's not the bullet. But they'll convince you to remove the person's character, just focus on the object. That is a trick. So when they want you to hate the police, it's for a reason. You see, these white folks that are prepared, they got family in the government, they got family in the military, They got family on the police force. They have family in the fire department. They have family in local city government. They have family everywhere in place thinking like them. You don't. So wouldn't it behoove the powers that be to make you hate their biggest opposition? Don't you think it would be smart, a great chess move, to make you think that anyone that will go against them is racist and bad? Think about it. Don't think like you playing Connect Four with the bottom out. Think about chess. Think about making a move 5 moves ahead. You got to make the move thinking about 5 moves ahead. We're just reacting to what's going on. We're not playing chess. We're just reacting. We're reacting, and we're reacting poorly. Get these folks out of your emotions. And especially to the men, if you're a grown man, there's no way you can feel like a man if your fate, your destiny, your legacy rests in the hands of a random white person who you don't even know. Y'all accused Trump of being racist for 4 years, right? Then we got Biden in office, and in 10 months, he's just literally destroyed everything, and y'all are silent. So I look at everybody that was vocal with me about Trump, but then silent on Joe Biden. That's a character flaw. That lets me know I can't trust you. If Trump was so bad to you, and Biden is not, but Biden is clearly bad, you just won't say anything, that lets me know your character. That's a character flaw. No different than picking the lesser of 2 evils. It's a character flaw. If you feel that both candidates are evil, then don't vote. If you feel both candidates are evil, then vote for somebody righteous. If you feel both candidates are evil, then vote for yourself. But you can't tell me with a clear conscience that voting for the lesser of 2 evils was the right thing to do. That's a character flaw. That means you're weak. Many of you all are conditioned to do something out of emotion. So why would they tell you all that your ancestors died to vote and then turn around and tell you, but your only choice is to vote Democrat? Think about it. It's a setup. It's manipulation. So at the end of the day, the system is corrupt, but the system that you all see is putting out all the content. So if it's telling you to hate white and love black, it's the same people saying it. If they're telling you to love black and hate white or whatever, same people doing it. It's the same people pushing the agenda. The same people. If they're telling you we got to stop global warming, those are the same people staging events with the racist white nationalists and KKK. Same people. It's the same people pushing the agenda. So what I'm telling you is that we can go through the data and see how our people fared under Donald Trump and under Joe Biden. In 2019, the census.gov came out and said there was record lows in poverty for the melanated community and Hispanic community. They said it was record lows in poverty 2019 for Black and brown. And the media was silent on it. That should have been great news. Why wasn't it celebrated? Why wasn't it celebrated when the census.gov came out and said there was record lows for poverty for melanated people in America and Hispanic people in America? Why wasn't it celebrated? I'll tell you why. Because that would give Donald Trump credit. But you see how the game is played. I'm not saying whether Donald Trump is racist or not, or Joe Biden is racist or not. What I'm telling you is that if we don't know what they are, all we can do is go to the numbers. All we can do is go by what we see. Imagine if the media was as critical of Joe Biden as they were of Donald Trump. He would have been impeached by now. So that should let you know it's a setup. It's a setup. How can you be critical of Donald Trump and not be critical of Joe Biden? It's a setup, clearly. The woman just said, if he mandates something, it's a law. She literally said, if he mandates something out of his mouth, it's a law. But y'all told me that Trump was a dictator. You see, what you all don't realize is that this whole system works off of consent. So these people that you think are going to get their just dues, they're not, because you're doing it. See, they'll let somebody that you hate tell you the truth, and then let someone that you love tell you the lie. That's how they get you. They let someone that you hate tell you the truth, and then they get someone that you love tell you the lie, because they have to get you to consent to what they're doing. So they have to get you to condemn Donald Trump and then beg for Joe Biden. They have to convince you that my body, my choice, go kill your baby. My body, my choice, go kill your baby, instead of planning to have a family. That's how it works. It's a setup. It's a setup. It's a. Let me play another clip about this abortion. This lady broke down this abortion.
We were given this free thing from the Society of America abortion. 78% of your free abortion clinics were placed in Black and urban areas for the purpose of something free of charge from a racist society. As to put it in words of one pro-abortionist, we don't need so many Negroes anymore. There's no more cotton to pick. These feelings about Black people, this was one way of doing it as a social benefit, if you will. We're here to help you. Black women, and let it be stated, Black women never demonstrated, demanded, or even requested the right to an abortion. We've been asking for the right to decent housing, the right to education, in fact, the right to health care. And all we've been given free of charge is the right to kill our unborn child. We are still struggling for equal opportunity.
So, again, you all didn't ask for abortion, but they gave it to you, and now you lead the charge in abortions. You see how that works? So what I'm telling you is that the media is giving you a narrative. That narrative is to convince you to ultimately give up your rights, give up your children, and then give up your life, and then your soul eventually. So when you see these things on TV, they're showing you them and not showing you them for a reason. So at the end of the day, if they showed you how many people died, why wouldn't they show you how many people that recovered? Why wouldn't they put both things on the TV screen at the same time? There's a reason. So they'll show you someone being killed by the police that looks melanated, but they won't show you someone white being killed by the police in the same way. Why not? Why won't they show you both videos? So many of you all are operating from an emotional standpoint, and the emotion is that I am inferior to white people. If you don't believe you think you're inferior, just go around a bunch of white people and write down your feelings. Go around a place where there is nothing but white people and write down, be honest with your emotions that you are feeling, and I guarantee when you read all those emotions, it's going to equal inferiority. A wise man once said, if you feel comfortable around someone, that means you don't belong. If you don't feel comfortable around someone, that means you don't belong. You see, you all think that God is going to honor skin color. If God honored skin color, that would mean God was just like us. And if God is just like us, then there's no need in giving God that much respect. God doesn't honor skin color, God honors character. God honors character. God honors obedience. God honors principles. God honors everything that you couldn't put on somebody. God honors everything that has to be earned. And they got you all feeling inferior. So when you see a white person, Caucasian, European, whatever you want to call them, when you see someone, you automatically see an oppressor. that means you're feeling inferior. You're feeling inferior. Dick Gregory just said, if we're going to keep up with white people, I don't agree with that. Keep up with yourself. Keep up with what God wants you to do. Be who God wants you to be so you can succeed. Most of us are failing because we're comparing ourselves to what white folks is doing. How you going to compete with white people and they got the system set up? To me, it makes more sense for us to lean on God at this time more than ever because the game is rigged. You got Klaus Schwab on TV telling you, oh, a cyber attack's coming. And y'all talking about racism? Klaus Schwab didn't say a cyber attack for white people. He didn't say a cyber attack for Asians. He didn't say a cyber attack for Hispanics. He said a cyber attack for the world. That means if you're on this planet, you about to be hit by this cyber attack. And when they shut this stuff down, they're not going to pick and choose. I'm going to mess with the melanated folks' account and not the white folks. No, they're going to shut the system down. It's a system in place that has to be shut down. Egypt is a system. Y'all wouldn't even believe that this over here was ancient Egypt. Your mind can't even fathom that this would be ancient Egypt. But why wouldn't it be? Same pyramids. The whole layout of Washington, D.C. is from Egypt, the same layout. Or could the layout from here be the model for Egypt? You don't know. We don't know. We only go by what they tell us and what sounds good and what feels good. We don't know. We don't know what's going on. They just told us something and we ran with it. I told y'all when I was a kid, Pluto was a planet. Now as an adult, it's not a planet. So that means if they can mistake a planet for a rock, then what makes y'all think they can mistake a whole continent for another? How you know that civilization didn't start right here? How you know? How you know that? How you know this ain't ancient Egypt right here? How you know that this ain't the promised land right? How you know? You don't know. They said the land was flowing with milk and honey. Imagine you come to a land and you see gold in the rivers, because there was a lot of gold here in the rivers, and you see snow-capped mountain. If I was given a description, I would say the land of what? Milk and honey. Snow-capped mountains, rivers with gold. What I'm telling you all is they got you feeling emotional about stuff. And it's for a reason, because they want you to go out here and just not only hate them, but essentially, if you got hate for something, then eventually you're going to hate your what? Yourself. That's what hate does. Because you're going to hate something you can't defeat. And if you can't defeat it, you're going to hate yourself for not being able to defeat it. This is why I tell you all to not listen to the media, because the media has an agenda. Their job is to give you some information, not keep you informed, give you information. You see, they look at us, they call us down here the uninitiated. The uninitiated are the ones that don't know what's going on. You know, in the Wizard of Oz, you had the lion, you had the scarecrow, you had the Tin Man, you had Dorothy, right? You had the brains, you had the heart, and you had the courage. So you had the mind, the body, and you had the spirit. And then you had Dorothy. Dorothy will represent the Holy Spirit, because Dorothy was the one that was leading the way. So you got your mind, body, and your spirit, and Dorothy is the one leading the way. But guess what? Dorothy wanted to get home. The lion wanted some courage. The scarecrow wanted a brain. The Tin Man wanted a heart. So that means they was all distracted. The dog, Toto, didn't have an agenda. He just wanted companionship. The dog didn't have an agenda. So the dog had the purest intent out of everybody in the Wizard of Oz. And guess who found the wizard? It was the dog. The dog found the wizard, not Dorothy, not the Scarecrow, not the Tin Man, not the lion. The dog found the Scarecrow because the dog didn't have any agendas. So the dog could see things for what it was. So the dog said, wait a minute. I see this flames, this big face, but something ain't right. Let me rely on my God-given natural instinct to smell because somebody behind that curtain. Let me go and pull this curtain back so y'all can see. And the wizards say, pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. Even when he's discovered, he's telling you to pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. And most folks are going to look at the fake image on the big screen, even though they see the man behind the curtain saying, don't look at me, look at that. Most folks will still look at that. But you know why? Because slavery is voluntary. You can't force someone into slavery. You can't. Slavery is voluntary. I know this is hard for y'all to take this, but slavery is on a consent basis because you got to consent to be a slave. The only way slavery could even take place is the people enslaved comply. If all the slaves say no, you can't have slavery. So there has to be a level of compliance during slavery. Now, many folks may say, well, they're going to do this and do that. They're doing it anyway. They're doing it anyway. Do y'all honestly think if you don't get that snake, people think if they get the snake bite, I'm good. People honestly think if I do what these people say, I'm good. If I do what these people say, I'm good. And these people don't care. If you comply, it's going to torture you more. You might as well make it a sport. My philosophy is I'm going to make them earn it. You got to earn it. You ain't finna just lay down. Most folks want to lay down. Most folks want to lay down because they cowards. Convenience, comfort, cowardice. Those are the 3 C's. Rick Ross got the 3 C's, but these are the real 3 C's. Not the Carol City Cartel. These are the real 3 C's. Convenience, comfort, and cowardice. They made everything too easy for us. You can pull up to get your food. That wasn't good enough. Now we got somebody bringing the food to us. Fast food wasn't good enough. Now I got to have the fast food delivered to me. Creating a nation of weak and soft individuals. Lazy, all these things are character flaws. Listen, the Bible never tells anybody to work hard. The Bible said a diligent hand maketh rich. That means consistency. You ain't got to go out there and beat yourself up. You just got to be consistent. You got to be diligent. You got to do something and do it every day till you perfect it. But they say 10,000 hours helps you perfect something. 10,000 hours or something leads to perfection. So I'm not going to tell you all that you all aren't great enough to defeat anything because you are. Even racism. This is why I don't concern myself with racism, because I believe in God and I believe that God gave me the keys and the power. So I don't need to focus on racism or white people or anybody else. I'm not comparing myself to anybody else. I'm going to do me. The old saying was, get me mine and I'm going to get me. So at the end of the day, nothing goes in vain. If you plant seeds enough, eventually some will grow. If you fight hard enough, eventually something's going to yield. I can tell you right now, the folks on the other side, all them liberal folks that were on the other side where men are having babies and women got beards and all this. On the other side, when the snake bite only works when everybody else get the snake bite. On the other side, that don't apply over there. On this side, you get out what you put in. You get out what you put in. Somebody said they got us focused on racism because the real goal has always been freedom, has always been sovereignty for the individuals. God is sovereign. So God makes us sovereign. God didn't create us for us to come down here and get tortured by these wicked people. Are y'all crazy? We gave these folks an inch and they took the world over. We gave them an inch with our sovereignty and they took the world over. The government is supposed to work for us. These mayors, these governors, the president, vice, they work for us. That means if they're doing a poor job, they cannot lead us. We're only picking them to lead us because they share our vested interests and that's their job. So we ain't got to worry about it. The whole purpose of them leading is that we ain't got to worry about it. We got families. We want to enjoy life, have fun. So really, the burden of responsibility is on them because they're the ones in charge of all this stuff. They're like the manager of the store. They ain't the CEO. And how you gonna manage a store with no customers? So at the end of the day, they want to reduce people to a color. You know why? Because with the color, there's no ownership in nothing. What are you? You're black, you're white. It's nothing. It's nothing. It's gibberish. Say it loud. I'm black and I'm proud. And as soon as y'all said that, they said, no, you're African American. Because you can't be black and proud. Shut all them chants down. I'm black and beautiful. No, you're not. You're African American. Huh? I don't want to be called Negro. Call me black. You bilingual? Negro Spanish, black English. What we talking about? The same thing. Again, they've been putting these labels on you this entire time, and it's all been done to keep you in bondage. They want to reduce a man and a woman and a child to a color so they can control you. So they can't control you. That's all. They just want to control you. They don't care about, them folks don't care about gay, straight, they don't care about this stuff. Them wicked, evil social engineers don't care about this stuff. They don't care. What's the best way to divide the people? Color, gender, sex, nationality, all that. What's the easiest way to get everybody divided? And if y'all notice, the LGBTQP, don't forget X, Y, and Z, has a flag. So why would the transgender community have their own flag? Because they want their own identity. Because they understand what it means to be lumped in with a group. We can't get our voices heard. So what y'all don't understand is we should have all been saying we was American instead of this other foolishness. Because when we all Americans, now we got a common goal. But if we black, if we white, if we this, if we that, we ain't got no common goal. And the common goal is freedom. Make no mistake about it. The common goal is freedom. The common goal is freedom. That's why the LGBTQP, don't forget X, Y, and Z community has a flag. Because I guarantee somewhere in their paperwork, somewhere along, the UN gonna get on TV one day and say, we recognize the LGBTQP, don't forget X, Y, and Z as a nation. So that means for many of people in my community, many of us will go over there to get a nationality instead of having our own. Now, see, we out here marching and tearing up the streets for George Floyd, but we wasn't marching and tearing up the streets and rioting and looting for a nationality, for some real recognition, for some guaranteed jobs, for some land. We wasn't marching and protesting for stuff that we actually need. We protesting for George Floyd. Now they made a mural, a bust, a gold bust of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and John Lewis. And now one of them, I'm gonna say it, now one of them have made any contributions to our people. None of them. Now one of them have made, in fact, they've only taken away from our people. They've only taken away from our people. But they want you to worship them. That's why they make statues. They were never supposed to make statues They were never supposed to make pictures. And it's a reason. Because folks lose sight when you got a statue and pictures. So when they make these great tall buildings, they want you to look up and focus on the buildings. The goal was to get you to think that the building they created was greater than God. They wanted you to believe that the building they created was greater than God. Because we got a bad habit of having to see it, having to touch it, having to feel it. That's why faith, true faith, is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. So that means faith is supposed to be so great to the point where it actually manifests into the spiritual, into the physical, I mean. Now you see why it's impossible to please God without faith, because essentially what God is saying, because God is so sovereign, honorable, and love to the highest form, God is saying, I want you to have the same ability I have. God wants us to be able to speak things and they go into existence. These folks want you to not tell the truth. These folks want you to put a mask over your face and not speak to your neighbor and not smile. You know how many folks that killed themselves just because they didn't see someone smile for over a year? There have been people that were depressed and they didn't see someone smile for over a year. No one told them I loved you. No one said good morning without that muffled sound. Nobody. People die behind this foolishness, man. People dying. This is psychological warfare against. This is spiritual warfare. This is not just physical, but it's psychological and it's spiritual. People are suffering behind this. And their goal is to keep us from that word where it says, the Bible says, touch and agree. Why would God say that? Back in the day, the agreement wasn't a written contract, because they tell you that cursive is a curse. You ain't supposed to be writing that stuff down. You cursing yourself. No, we don't need a contract if we got this, if we got our word and we touch and agree on it. They took away all that. They only created contracts because folks didn't have any character. Now I got to put it in writing. Now I got to put it in writing. They only wrote down the scriptures because folks was using the scriptures for evil. Now we got to write it down so y'all can't cheat. That's all this stuff is based in character. Them contracts should have been sealed like these, to be sealed like this. I gave you my word and that was enough. Now we got to have contracts. Now the contracts went from writing the curse on yourself. Now you just doing it on the computer screen. Now it's a digital curse. So that should let y'all know where this thing is going next. Y'all saw the Matrix, and in the Matrix, I keep telling y'all this thing is so divine. Did Morpheus force Neo out of the Matrix? No. Neo was already following the rabbit. Neo was already in the rabbit hole. So what happens? Morpheus presents him with a choice. And it's an honorable choice. You can see how deep the rabbit hole goes, or you can go back to your normal life and believe what you want to believe. That's honorable. So, I hear y'all talking about a man's word, but I'm going to say this. A man's word is his bond, because the man's word is a reflection of his character. So I should be able to tell you something, and you should rest easy at night knowing I'm going to fulfill what I told you. That is character. We used to exist like that, but now we don't, because we lack character. And what society has done is society has literally squeezed all of the character out of us. It has squeezed it out of us. The character. I have one more minute to go, so I'm gonna stop right here, and I'm going to come back. I'm gonna come right back and finish up, but it won't be for an hour. Hold on, YouTube. Give me 1 second so I can just close out. Give me 1 second, YouTube. I'm sorry. I just want to finish this real quick and I'll be done maybe about a couple more minutes. I just hate ending like that because I want to finish my point. So, if race is a false construct used to control us, then that would mean racism is also a false construct used to control us. And I tell you all that racism is economic because if you go to court and you prove that racism was practiced on you, there's going to be a monetary compensation. Racism has always been about economics. So the economics affects the politics, and the politics affects the social issues. That's how it works. They convinced us that we can attack this problem from a social standpoint and then work our way up to the economic and then to the political, then to the economic. It's not how that works. We should always have been, this should always should have been about, a nationality, meaning that the United Nations says that every human being has the right to a nationality because that is your identifier. That's what bonds you and your group together. So at the end of the day, a color doesn't do that. You know, the black flag, if we wanted for black people, it would be a black flag and it'd be considered death, bad. The black flag wasn't good. Then you can say, well, what about the red, the black, and the green? Well, the red, think about it. The red for the blood, the green for the black for the skin, and the green for the land. Even in that, it's still psychologically bad because your skin isn't even black. Again, all this stuff is done to get you to not be who God intended you to be. You see, the Bible doesn't really focus on race. The Bible focuses on bloodlines from the tribes. Those are the 12 tribes of Israel. Those are the 12 tribes of humanity. That's what the scriptures focus on. They told you to focus on what somebody looks like, not their tribe or their bloodline or their what? Nationality. So we got to understand that all of this stuff they're doing is a setup. So if they show you someone on TV that looks like you and I being killed by the police, the reason they're showing it to you is not to expose the police. They don't care about that. They just want you to think that all the police are bad so that when they get rid of the police, you'll be in favor of it. But the problem is, if they get rid of the police, what are they going to replace the police with? Because think about it, they're not getting rid of the police and then letting you be free. It's not what it, because the whole thing is about control. So they're not getting rid of the police. They're getting rid of the police to bring in their own police to put you into slavery. That's their goal. So at the end of the day, I want us to not be manipulated by this media. There are good people of all walks of life that look nothing like you. We don't have a patent on being good. Neither do white people, neither do the Asians. It's not how that works. This is about character. What are these people about? If they're about freedom, then let's go. There are plenty of, I even have Moors that I follow Moors, I have Moors that follow me, but there are even Caucasian people that feel the same way the Moors do. They feel the same way. They feel the same way about being sovereign. They feel the exact same way. When you get down to this whole thing, people want to be free. People want to be free. People don't want somebody telling them what to do. I don't want to wake up in the morning, people tell me, oh, because it's this today outside, you can't come outside today. Climate change, climate control, carbon emissions, all that is too hot. The sun is bad now. I don't want to hear all that, man. Listen, let me be free. That's what everybody wants. Freedom. But some of you all think that freedom is comfort. It's not the same thing. Because many of us aren't even built to live on our own, having to grow our own food, being responsible for every aspect of our lives from when we wake up in the morning to when we go to bed at night. Meaning you got to build your own shelter, you got to grow your own food, you got to get your own irrigation system, you got to provide your own protection. Most folks ain't built like that, but we used to be built like that. We used to be built like that. We used to be built the same way. That's why God told the people, you got to go in there and possess the land, but they said it was giants down there. God didn't tell you to mention no, God said go in there and possess the land. So many of us, honestly, don't want to have land because we don't even want the responsibility of having everything be on us. We don't even want the responsibility. It's a character flaw. We don't even want to have to grow our own food. Let's be honest. We don't want to have a horse and a buggy. Let's be honest. We don't want to have to store up this stuff for the winter. We don't want to have to chop wood. We don't want to have to defend our land against raiders and marauders. We don't want that responsibility. Let's be honest. We don't want to give up the comfort. We want to be comfortable. We want to feel, we want to be able to relax, kick our feet up, go to the spa, get our feet rubbed, get our back rubbed. We want to be comfortable. So what I say is, right now, you got to make a decision on what you want. Do you want what you're learning coming from the media, or do you want what you're learning coming from God? The Bible says you ask God for wisdom and God will give it to you freely. But there's a difference between man's wisdom and God's wisdom. Difference between man's law and natural law. Natural law says silence is consent. And does that make sense? Silence is consent according to natural law. Why? Because if you aren't vocal, if your words are powerful, think about how God views it. If life and death are in the power of the tongue, then that means if you're silent on something, you're giving your consent to it because the power is in your words. All those opposed, say aye. All those for say aye. All those opposed say nay. They make you give a verbal confirmation. They make you give a verbal confirmation to give your consent. When you get married, how do you seal the marriage? I do. If y'all got married and nobody said nothing, then marriage wouldn't be confirmed. As the old folks say, confirmed. So silence is consent according to natural law because you not speaking up about something that is wrong means you're agreeing with it. So everybody that's silent on what's going on is going to get what they got coming to them. If everybody's vocal about what's going on right now, with these folks infringing upon our rights, our God-given human rights, if everybody was vocal, they couldn't do it. They couldn't do it. They couldn't do it. So silence is consent. There's a reason why you got to go why you got to go speak to Congress. There's a reason why you got to go get on these platforms and speak. There's a reason why they have folks on TV speaking to you. If that was the case, if the words didn't matter, they would just put text on the screen all day. You read it. No, they got to speak this stuff to you. Joe Biden got to tell you his patience is wearing thin. He got to tell you that. So you know, I better get that snake bite. So guess what? We got to be verbally against what's going on. I'm against this tyranny. I don't support it. I don't support infringing upon anybody's rights. And I don't care what their sexual orientation is, their nationality is. I don't care. Everybody should have the right to do what they want to do. until you start infringing upon other people's rights. Then we got to have a discussion. But until then, everybody deserves rights. I ain't got a problem with them folks doing what they want to do. Do what live your life. Just don't put it in the schools. If y'all two men want to get married, and then when you get married, you become a woman and he become a man, y'all flip-flop, that's fine. You can do that. But don't push that on the children, and don't tell me I got to accept it. I can let you stay over there and I can stay over here. Nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with you doing that over there and I do this over here. And we live peacefully. Nothing wrong with that. You saw in the Bible, Lot was in Sodom and Gomorrah. There was 2 cities. So Lot supposed to be righteous, but he didn't want to leave Sodom and Gomorrah. Why didn't Lot want to leave? Because he was down low? No, that ain't why he didn't want to leave Sodom and Gomorrah. He was making money. He was getting to the money. He was rich. And they respected Lot because they didn't bother Lot. They let Lot do what he wanted to do in the Sodom and Gomorrah city. They let Lot do what he had to do. They didn't bother Lot. Lot made money. They had a mutual understanding. Then them angels showed up and they said, Lot, all bets are off. We want them angels. We want them angels now. We want them angels. So what I'm telling you all is silence is consent. And when they feed us this propaganda, we got to be against it. Somebody said, the Bible says, study to show thyself approved. So that means ignorance of the law is no excuse. Isn't that what they tell you? Ignorance of the law is no excuse. So you saying the worst thing someone can say is, I don't know. What you should say is, let me find out. Instead of saying, I don't know, let me find out. Somebody said it's the Matrix. But even in the Matrix, you got to be able to navigate. And it's ironic that the people that was fighting against the Matrix had to eventually go back into the Matrix. And the funny thing is, Neo wasn't the one. Agent Smith was the one. Agent Smith's goal was to destroy the whole system. At least if Agent Smith destroys the system, then at least the people outside of the system can live. But no, Neo wanted to save the system. Neo went and saved the Matrix. That's why the Oracle told him he wasn't the one, because Neo went to go save. Neo actually saved the Matrix. He said, "Let it burn. Let it crumble. Let it crumble." Remember now, the Matrix said, "And if you fail," he said, "I won't." So Neo made a deal with the Matrix. Agent Smith said, "No deal. We about to destroy it." So I'm just telling you all, you can negotiate with terrorists, or you cannot. Now, the Matrix was supposed to be done in the Matrix 3. But because Neo made a deal with the machine, we got a Matrix 4. If Agent Smith had had his way, it would have been destroyed, and it would have been the folks living in Zion happily ever after. The end. Everything else would have crumbled. So the media is now showing you all police killing us because they care about police killing us. That's not why they're showing you that. They're showing you that to consent to you not having a police force. But rest assured, if you consent to not having a police force, you're ultimately still consenting to be policed, just not by the police. You're still consenting to be policed, just not by the police. Okay, I had someone send me something. She sent me something and it said, she said, it's crazy how they do us. And it was a white officer in critical condition, and it was a white suspect, in critical condition. They both had shot each other. And she said if the suspect had been black, he would have been killed. And I said, well, the white suspect is in critical, so clearly the cop was trying to kill him too. He just didn't die. So the funny thing is, this person actually believes that the white cop wasn't trying to kill the white suspect, even though the white suspect was trying to kill the white cop. That's the level of delusion that we are under because of this spell that the media gives us. Somebody said the Terminator and the Matrix go hand in hand. Yeah, because essentially Skynet replaced humanity with robots. And in the Matrix, they basically had you a living, functioning computer program. They had you in a computer program, but you were functioning as a computer program. So essentially, they are the same thing. Terminator and the Matrix are the exact same thing. Skynet replacing humanity with robots that look, remember, they look human. So Skynet has the humanity replaced with robots that look human, that are allegiance, they have their allegiance pledged to Skynet, the master computer. And in the Matrix, you're plugged into a computer system, and your allegiance is to the Godfather or the father or the architect of the Matrix, and the Oracle too, because they both work hand in hand. Because the Oracle and the architect of the Matrix, they're balanced. They're man and woman, mother, father. They're yin and yang. They're just balanced. So even the Matrix, the machine, understood balance. I have to have the machine's agenda and an oracle. So I got to have a mechanical portion and a spiritual portion. So they even understood balance, but they're still both systems of control, because the oracle's job, she never told anybody to leave the Matrix. The oracle never told anyone to leave the Matrix. She was just there for balance, which makes her a part of the same system of control. But anyway, I say all that to say that these people aren't giving you information to make you more aware or to make white people accountable. Their goal is for you and I to give up our rights, give up our sovereignty. That's what they want. Everything they're doing now is somehow leading back to your God-given rights, where you can go, what you can do, where you can work, where you can eat. Now, just think about what they're doing. They're trying to corner you in every way possible in society, even with your children in school, giving them these awful doctrines like critical race theory and teaching them about being transgender and all this foolishness, even in the schools. And they still want everybody masked up because they want you to pledge allegiance to this. And the whole goal is eventually to not be human. And so when they put this whole anti-white agenda in the media, the whole purpose of this whole anti-white agenda media is for you to not side with these white people when they go against these powers that be. That's the only reason. There are over 400 million guns in America. 400 million guns. Who do you think owns most of the guns? So who do you think the media would be most against? If there are 400 million guns in America, and it's the guns keeping these folks from all-out tyranny and communism and dictatorship, wouldn't it make sense for the media to demonize those that have the guns? So the people that have the guns are the whites, the Caucasians, the Europeans, whatever you want to call them. They have the guns. And so the greatest threat to this system right now, this agenda, is America and those with the guns in America. Now, the greatest threat to all of them, the biggest threat is unity. If we unite, none of this works. So that means everything they're doing is to keep you and I divided. And the easiest thing to divide us is skin color, because we can see it. I can see what you look like. If we were all blind, then they would base it on those with smooth skin and those that didn't have smooth skin. Those are rough skin versus those with smooth skin. Those that were hairy and those that didn't have hair. Those with bumps, those without. But because we can see, they make it about color. If we couldn't see, it'd be something else. If some of us was born with no legs, if we was born, some had legs, some had arms, nobody had both, it would be the arms versus the legs. All they care about is division. All they care about is division. That's it. And so many, I see one of my trolls on here. Listen, I love the trolls because most of these men that are trolls, they real soft. They real soft. They real soft. See, most of these trolls you encounter, if you see them in real life, they soft. I mean, they weak, they soft. Listen, he the type of dude, right? That when he go to the club, he buying drinks, he swinging his car keys. He the type of dude go out with a chick and he let her order 2 meals for her lunch tomorrow. Really, she bringing the meal back home to the dude that she really with. She using him for the meal. I like the trolls because in real life, they always paying the tab. They always got to pay the tab. Always. They got to pay the tab. Them the same dudes that women love taking advantage of. He buying purses. I guarantee if I find out who he dated, I guarantee he put his cape on with all of them. I guarantee. I guarantee he put his cape on. I guarantee when he meet a chick, he don't hand her his business card. He hand her his credit, his card. I know them type of dudes. They soft. They can't put their foot down. No backbone. Somebody said a soy man. I know he's soft. I guarantee he shave his legs. I guarantee he shave his legs and he shave under his arms too. He's soft. I know he's soft. Look at him. You hear him? I do buy. I'm a gentleman. I told you he's a trick. Listen, y'all think I be lying? The man just said, I do buy. I'm a trick. He said, I do buy. I'm a trick. Somebody, the Perfect Plus said he wear brunch boots. Y'all know where he wear them Chelsea boots? Listen, he wear Chelsea boots, skinny jeans with rips in them, tight shirts. He go to the gym. He only do chest and arms. I know what type of dude he is. He's soft. He's soft. This the same chick. These same chicks get him the same lines all the time. I need my cell phone bill paid. I need my car insurance. Come on, man. He a trick. Any grown, somebody said he's the nice, yeah, he's the nice guy. He's the nice guy. He's the guy, he's the nice guy. He's a nice guy. He a trick. I guarantee he a trick. Some little, look, he a trick. Listen, I know guys like this. I know guys. Now look, now he want to go live on my platform. But he can't go live on his platform because he got to pay. He got to pay to go live. He got to pay women to go out with him. He got to pay women to go out. He a trick. When he go to the strip club, y'all know when Dollar Bills and Players Club hit that green button, when he go in the strip club, strippers get happy because they know he finna pay somebody rent tonight. He a trick. I know these type of dudes. There's no way a grown man can be on somebody's page trolling. You a grown man on another grown man's page. What grown man with anything going on in their life got the time to go on another grown man's page and troll? And troll. I know he's soft. And I get this. Hold on, how much you want to bet? How much you want to bet? He a Democrat, he liberal, he got a Kamala t-shirt, he got a I love Kamala t-shirt, he got a You right, I ain't black, I love Joe Biden. How much you want to bet he Democrat, liberal, love Kamala, love Obama? He got a picture of Obama in his house right now. Come on. I know what type of dudes these are, man. I know what type of dudes these are. These the same dudes that when they see a video on Instagram, any of a white person saying I ain't wearing a mask, they gonna share it and say they racist. Look, he said I got an Obama t-shirt. I told you. I told you. I told you. Listen, he want to get on live with me because he want an audience. He don't deserve to be on live with me. Why would I give a peasant an audience? Why would I give somebody beneath me a platform to share with me? The king don't let the court gesture. He the court gesture. He can't sit on the throne with me. He can entertain the court. He can't sit on the throne with me. If that court gesture get out of pocket, it's off with his head. Chelsea boots, skinny jeans. I bet he on Match right now, taking chicks out every day. He a trick. I can tell. There ain't no real man that's about anything. No real man is finna go to another man's page and troll. And this dude been trolling me. This dude been trolling me for days. He been hopping on my stuff for days. So now I got a question. Do he like me? Do you like me? It seems like he liked me. Now is he looking up to me or is he looking up to me? Which one is it? Is he looking up to me or is he looking up to me? Which one is it? Because it seemed kind of suspect. I don't know no grown man. That's what we call a dirty Moor. He filthy, a filthy Moor. Somebody said there's two trolls in here now. I know he in here. I know he in here. I know. He done called his friends up. It's a gang of them, but guess what? I guarantee in real life, yeah, he done shared my live. I guarantee in real life, he won't have this same energy. I guarantee in real life, he'll be like all the other liberals. He'll want to come talk civilly. Well, I just, because the way you be talking, man, it make me feel bad because, I'm a black man. And, I got to hear all that crying, man. He's soft. He's soft, man. When he got to pee, he sit down. When he got to pee, he sit down. He don't stand up and pee. He sit down and pee so he can read. He's soft, man. Come on, man. He's so soft, man. It's terrible, man. Then this the problem. And this the problem. This the problem. And I guarantee he pro-jab too. And he pro-jab. Pro-jab, I can tell. Because don't no real man have the time to go on somebody else's platform and troll. I guarantee he shave his eyebrows. I know that, listen, man, I guarantee he get his feet done. He get his nails done. I know what type of dude this is. He's soft. I know what type of dude this is. He's soft. Yeah, I know he got the jab. No, he got the jab. Yeah, he jabbed up. Yeah, he screaming black. Listen, he was the same one. Now think about how hard it is for you to be marching and protesting in them hard Chelsea boots and skinny jeans. As hot as it was last summer, he was out there with 100% cotton Black Lives Matter t-shirt, some skinny jeans on and some Chelsea boots and a mask, chanting Black Lives Matter. Damn near had heat stroke last year. He damn near had heat stroke. He almost passed out last year. He almost passed out. He protesting in Chelsea boots, feet, blisters, bunions, all that. Come on, man. Yeah, he mad at Dave Chappelle. Come on, man. Yeah, he mad at Dave Chappelle. But anyway, like I was saying, though, and so what we got to get back to is people not being emotional. We got to be in back. Listen, look at him. I told you he's emotional. Look at him. No real black man sits in front of a white racist audience. And I got all kind of races of people on here. I got Moors on here. I got my beautiful queens on here. I got melanated brothers. I got everybody on here. I got people from Cuba on here. I got everybody on here. And he talking about white people. I told you it's an inferiority complex. Black Lives Matter had him out there. I'm on cue. I got you, Ted. I'm finna get back. I'm having fun. I'm finna get back. I'm having fun. But Black Lives Matter had him out there last year, marching and protesting in Chelsea boots. And what did he get from it? What did he get from it? Absolutely nothing. This is what I talk about when I talk about emotions. He worried about my white audience. This is what I'm talking about. They want to get you distracted from the real goal at hand. And the real goal is freedom for America. They want to get you distracted. The enemy only comes to steal, kill, and destroy. That's it. Now I had a little fun with him, but I don't want y'all to get sidetracked by him. I just want to let y'all know what type of people are trolls. They aren't really trolls in real life, though. He's only trolling here because it's safe. He'll do it here because he's safe to do it. In real life, he wouldn't say anything. He probably just asked for take a picture with me in real life. That's what they do. That's what they do. They're real soft in real life. They're not built for nothing. And so what I'm telling you all is to check your emotions. Because these folks right here are the ones they want to take over. It's people like him. Everything is racist. Nothing's my fault. I couldn't score the touchdown because the person that made the ball was racist. I couldn't score the basket because the person that made the ball was racist. No, the rim was racist. No, the floor was racist. No, the crowd was racist. The shoes are racist. Like, enough's enough. We got a whole nation of soft men. Just soft. A whole nation that we just soft. And I see a lot of our women standing up to this. A lot of our men aren't. See, the whole thing is unity, is division. It's division. Now he's gonna be the same one when this stuff hit the fan, and it's gonna be some white folks with a bunker, and they're gonna have room for one more. But he's gonna be standing outside, well, with that stupid costume on, with the Chelsea boots, the skinny jeans, the Black Lives Matter t-shirt, the Kamala face mask, and then a dumb hat that says "Stay Black and Die." He gonna have all that stupid stuff on, and nobody gonna want to help him because he looks so dumb. And he'll go in there and compromise the whole mission. I keep telling you all that what's coming ahead now, what's coming, is not gonna be about race. It's gonna be about your freedom and your life. These folks gonna get on TV and tell you to go down to the FEMA camp, go down to the green zone. And they're gonna tell you to do it for your people. A lot of y'all gonna go. Don't fall for it. You know, don't fall for it. Now ultimately, we gotta pray for this guy. I'm having fun with him, but we gotta pray for him though. Because we don't need any more soft men because he's gonna be in the way. So we gotta pray that God touches his heart and give him some courage. We gotta pray that he stop looking at the wizard and look to God to get some courage and to get some brains and to get some heart. We got to pray for that for him, because I guarantee he's going to be in the way. When all this stuff goes down, he's going to be the type of guy that's going to call and tell you that they not this and they not. He's going to be the one calling. He's going to be the one at the FEMA camp checking folks in. It's going to be him, them type of people. So we got to pray for him. Better now we pray for him now, because there's going to come a time we can't pray for him. It's going to be all out, it's going to be what it is. Right now we can pray for him. In the future, it's going to be on site. So I'm just saying, I love y'all. I love y'all, but I just want y'all to stop listening to the media. America is not racist. It's just not. Is there racism in America? Yes. Are people racist? If they're able to practice racism, yes. But the average person can't even practice racism. They don't have the power to. 80% of Americans are living check to check. 80% of Americans are living check to check. Check to check. So that means the average person, no matter what they look like, doesn't have the power to enforce racism. They can't economically make you do anything. They can't add or take away from you. So the average person cannot practice racism, just like the average person didn't own a slave. Most people in America, most white folks in America did not own slaves. It's a false narrative. They told you that every white person owned slaves. If every white person owned slave, it would have crippled the economy. It wouldn't be worth nothing. money wouldn't mean nothing. If everybody is rich, money means nothing. Most folks didn't own slaves. But guess what? They're not going to tell you that we own slaves as well, though. They're not going to tell you that. Everybody didn't practice slavery. It ain't just white folks. They got slavery going on right now in the Middle East and in Africa. And ain't never one of y'all woke weekend warriors protested about the actual slavery going on right now around the world. None of y'all. Not y'all, but the woke weekend warriors. You know, the folks that want to march in Chelsea boots and Kamala t-shirts. Those people. No, it wasn't. No, indentured servitude. Let me correct something. Indentured servitude and chattel slavery are not the same thing. Slavery and chattel slavery are different. So chattel slavery is treated like an animal. Slavery is for a period of time and be able to become free. And indentured servant is what it is, a servitude choice. But at the end of the day, there is a difference between slavery and chattel slavery. But right now, there's even sex trafficking. There's even sex slaves now. I don't see these woke folks talking about that. I don't see nobody from, ain't it funny that Black Lives Matter did all that hooting and hollering, made all that money and didn't give none of the money to the people. Black Lives Matter made estimated $10 billion. And I believe it too. You know why? Because the guy that actually started Black Lives Matter, a melanated man in LA, Los Angeles, he started the real version of it. That's why they had to call it Black Lives Matter Global Network, because he had it first. And when he started Black Lives Matter, he started it because his wife's ex-husband had got shot by the police. And his purpose of Black Lives Matter was to create a relationship between the police and the community. That was his goal. Black Lives Matter was started from Trayvon Martin getting killed by George Zimmerman. It wasn't even started off of police brutality. It wasn't even started from police brutality. It was started from George Zimmerman killing Trayvon Martin. That's how they got their claim. And they made all that money, so then and didn't get none of the money to the family. And so then this past year with George Floyd, the whole world was protesting and they were sending money in. The entire planet was sending money to Black Lives Matter. And yes, when I read the article, they made $10 billion. Ask me how many businesses were started in our community by Black Lives Matter from that $10 billion. What was created in our community from Black Lives Matter from all that money they made? What was created? Now see, the trolls on here, they can't answer the question. They can't answer the question because they're soft men. They're ruled by their emotions. If you saw these guys in real life, y'all wouldn't respect them. I'm telling you that you wouldn't. These are the same guys that shave their armpits. You wouldn't respect them. They only want to come on this live to steal, kill, and destroy. Because my last live on Saturday, I spoke so much truth that it convicted them. There's no way I could be telling a lie and it makes somebody come on every post and live I do from then on out. You see, the lies entertain, but the truth convicts. The lies entertain, but the truth convicts. So conviction makes you hop on my live and start trolling. Conviction makes you hop on my live and start running your mouth. That's conviction, because I told the truth and it convicted you. Now, what they should do is take that tampon off and go out there and be a real man by telling these people the truth, by telling these people that the reason why they're failing in life is not because of white people. It's because you just soft. It's because you're weak. You haven't built up enough character to succeed in life. You see, I was raised by men that use their bare hands to build and create, to empower the community. I was raised in a time period where real men looked out for the community. That's why I was raised. I wasn't raised in this new generation. The new generation where they hop on lives and run their mouth and then hop off in real life. They probably running around there. And most of these people, most of these dudes talking all this black power stuff, they got a white girl at home. Y'all do know that, right? They got a white girl at home. Y'all do know all these black power, Black Lives Matter folks, they got white, just like Don Lemon, just like AOC, just like the Iliad Muhammad chick, just like Kamala Harris, just like the Black Lives Matter chicks, they got white trans, all of them go home to white folks. So they convinced, just like Cornel West, all these folks telling y'all that white folks are bad, they go home to white people. So that means the most important aspect of a person's life is who they choose as a mate. And these people literally talk all this white bad, and then go home and then go home to a white person, which should let you know they don't believe it. They don't believe it. This is where we are. This is why we got to start empowering each other and start letting these soft men have a platform and have a voice. This is why the country wanted to see Joe Biden as president, because he looks weak. He's non-threatening. He's non-intimidating. He can't complete a sentence. People feel comfortable with Joe Biden. They didn't feel comfortable with Trump because they all said if Trump says something, he gonna do it. They didn't feel comfortable with Trump, but they feel comfortable with Joe Biden. They feel comfortable with Don Lemon. They feel comfortable with the Terry Porter dude. They feel comfortable with these soft. They feel comfortable with Van Jones. They feel comfortable with John Legend. They feel comfortable with these soft men with platforms. It makes them feel comfortable. They don't want to see a real man up there, because they know if a real man is up there, he gonna say what he means and he's gonna mean what he say. You see what I'm saying? This is why they put this stuff on the media, because it works. It works on these folks that are emotional and weak. It works. It works. These people trolling on here, they feel inferior to white people. They actually go home. They actually go home and they think about white people. They actually listen to Cuomo and Don Lemon talk about white. They actually listen to white liberals talk about other white people. In Atlanta right now, you can drive down Paces Ferry. Paces Ferry is where the governor stays. All kind of multi-million-dollar homes on Paces Ferry. It's a rich area before you head into Buckhead, Paces Ferry. I remember last year, it was so many yards that had the Black Lives Matter sign up on the yards. These rich Caucasian people supporting Black Lives Matter. Why? Why? They saw the light? Well, if they saw the light, and if everything is true about racism, then if everything is true about racism, then that means every Caucasian person that is against racism and fighting against racism should be cutting a check. Because last I checked on the books, it said 40 acres and a mule, right? So that means if 40 acres and a mule is on the books, then that means every white person who these two clowns are listening to should be cutting a check, right? Because to me, if I got 40 acres, then we even. We good. But guess what? The same people that were out there protesting and stealing flat screens and marching in Chelsea boots and skinny jeans, the same people that was doing that didn't make one demand. They didn't have enough courage, enough character to make one demand. They didn't ask for a piece. They didn't ask for 1 acre. They didn't demand a job. They didn't demand college for their children. They didn't do anything. They didn't do anything. They didn't do it. They didn't make one demand. All that marching, all that protesting, all that rioting, and all that looting, and they didn't make one demand. Not one. All these complaints about white people, and they're not making one demand. And at the end of the day, the number one problem in the world is poverty. Poverty kills more than any other thing on the planet. The root cause of everything that's wrong with the world stems back down to economics. So we got on the books 40 acres and a mule, and these dummies are asking for something for George Floyd. We got 40 acres and a mule on the books waiting to be claimed, and we are marching for something for George Floyd, an ex-porn star who was a dope fiend. The same George Floyd that held a gun to the pregnant woman's stomach and asked where the dope was, where the money was. The same George Floyd in the home invasion that put the gun to the pregnant woman's stomach and asked where the dope and the money was. The same George Floyd that terrorized our community. The same Jacob Blake. They got the police called on him because he had raped the woman's house that he was at, and he was trying to steal her rental car keys. They're not going to tell you that on the news. He was trying to take her rental car keys, and he had already raped the woman, and she had a restraining order against him. But y'all want me to support that. We too soft. These white liberals control how we think. They control our consciousness. So now we got protesters out here in Chelsea boots and skinny jeans, and they just emotional and soft, blaming white people. Just blaming white people. These are the same people when Joe Biden said, if you're not black, you don't vote for me. If you're black, you're not black if you don't vote for me. And these people said, okay. They said, okay. There's a reason why they want you all emotional. And it's all about divide and conquer. And so many people are going to be left on the outside looking in. Many people will go down to the FEMA camp simply because CNN said go. Many folks will go to the green zone simply because CNN said go. So what I'm telling you all is the same people that run Black Lives Matter are the same people controlling the racism narrative. The same people telling you that Black Lives Matter are the same people pushing this snake bite. They're the same people, the exact same people. So what can we learn today? I think today we can learn that we can't trust our emotions because our emotions are designed to make us want to feel good. And our emotions are catalysts to our ego. Because really what it boils down to is ego. On one hand, we feeling good about ourselves. On the other hand, on one hand, we feel good about ourselves. On the other hand, we feel inferior. And so these trolls, a lot of times, they already feel inferior to white people. They already feel inferior. And I get it. Because you're taught to feel inferior. You're taught that. The media tells you that you're oppressed every day. Biden told you was oppressed. Kamala told you was oppressed. And then every person you look up to told you was oppressed. So they already feel inferior to white people. These are the same people that when they get around white people, they start whispering. The same people. These are the same people. I see the people every day. These are the educated Democrat. These are the black educated Democrats in our society. These are the ones that W. Du Bois talked about, the talented 10th. These are the gatekeepers. These are the same folks that bend over to be in the boule. The same people. These are the same people that get on the casting couch in Hollywood. These are the same people that sell their soul for money or for fame. These are the same people. They're no different. This the Boule, Talented 10. These are the same people. Same people. So at the end of the day, we have to know that the powers that be are trying to divide us even more because of what's to come. Klaus Schwab already said we're going to have a cyber attack. Cyber attack means everything shut down. Financial systems, power grids, water systems, everything shut down. Who's prepared to exist during that time? I can guarantee you now, if you're out there marching for Black Lives Matter, talking about voter registration and police brutality, you're not going to be ready for it. You're not. You're not. You're not. These folks are not about telling the truth. These folks are extensions of white supremacy because the folks they listen to are on CNN. These folks watch CNN. They don't do no critical thinking. They watch CNN to feel good. Then they listen to me and I make them feel ashamed. I make them feel ashamed. When they cut me on in the car with that girl in the car, they cut me off quick because I make them feel ashamed. I make them feel ashamed. That's all. So he wanted some attention, or they wanted some attention, and I gave it to him. Yeah, they bootlickers. They Chelsea bootlickers. Come on. These are the same people that praise white liberals. White liberals love these types of, white liberals love these types of people. They love them because they're emotional. So they can manipulate them. They love them. They love these people, man. He telling y'all blacks. Look what he calling y'all. He calling y'all blacks. So disrespectful. You ain't, and none of y'all are black. Look at him. Calling y'all. Look at him calling y'all black. Blacks inbox me. So disrespectful. Ain't nobody black. Black is a color. You can't describe, identify, and define a person or group of people with the color. It's disrespectful. He already brainwashed. But guess what? I'm not going to block him. I don't block nobody. I don't block no trolls. You know why? Because I know I torture them at night. He thinking about me all day, yesterday, day before. He thinking about me all week. I got a new fan. Come on, man. Calling people black. You know he brainwashed. We know it's about having a nationality. Look how brainwashed he is, calling y'all blacks. Disrespectful. Calling y'all Negroes. Disrespectful. He the same one supporting Joe Biden. Come on, man. Let me spend the rest of my time with some empowerment for my people. And when I say my people, I mean all my people that choose to live a life of character. All my people that choose to want to be free. All my people that choose to know who they are. Know who God made them to be. That's who I'm dedicated to. Not him, not them, because he bought a friend on here too. And I know he's soft too. They both, they running packs. But y'all, soft dudes running packs. You can see them in the club. They all running packs. They all running packs. And then they be smoking, and then they thinking they tough, right? They'll have their mask on, and then pull their mask on to put the cigar in their mouth and puff, and then pull the mask back up. They soft. These are the same dudes that are afraid to not wear their mask into an establishment. These are the same dudes. The same people, we got people afraid to not wear their mask in public. I went to California and did not wear my mask. I went to California and did not wear my mask. I don't wear no mask. So I walk in the spot and I just deal with it. They put me out, they put me out. They let me stay, they let me stay. But most of these cowards out here can't even not wear the mask. They got to wear the mask. That's how soft they are. And I guarantee if you go to these folks' page that's talking on here trolling, I bet they got pictures on their profile, on their page with a mask on. How much you want to bet? I bet money if you go to their page, they have pictures with that mask on. How much you want to bet? They're not built for nothing. I told you they soft. They're not built for nothing. How they gonna say anything and they're afraid to take a mask off? Think about it. How you gonna say anything to anybody and you're afraid to not wear your mask? And they want to convince you they real men. They want to convince you they tough. Come on, man. I got women. I know women that live in California, in New York, live in Raccoon City, in Possum City, and don't wear the mask. I know women that live in the most liberal states in the country and don't wear masks. They deal with getting harassed. They deal with getting the police called on them. They deal with all kind of tyranny and everything every single day just to not wear the mask. And I got two grown men on here afraid to not take the mask off. And they want some respect. Soft. They soft. I told you they soft. If y'all saw these guys in public, they would wear a mask on, have a mask on, even in a place that didn't require a mask. They soft. I'm telling you, they soft. They're the same people that believe something that has a 99.9% recovery rate is dangerous. That's them. I'm telling you, they soft. They soft. They listen to Joe Biden and listen to Kamala Harris. They soft. They soft. But y'all ain't soft though. Y'all ain't soft. Because I know when it's time to separate, some of y'all are gonna separate and some of y'all are gonna stay. I know what's gonna happen. It's inevitable. It's inevitable. But I love it though, because I want you all to see what we're really dealing with. And this is what we thank you, Paige. Y'all follow Paige. Paige has a class coming up this weekend. Paige Flowers. She give y'all your crypto information, some sovereignty information. That is Paige, Paige FLWRS. Please follow Paige Flowers, please. But anyway, and thank you, Callie Marine. Thank you. Now look, he's still talking about black. He asking if Paige is black. Look, I'm telling you, man, listen, these people are brainwashed beyond belief. That's why we have to separate. We got to separate from them because they're going to compromise the whole mission. These are the same people. Look at she told them, I'm no color, brother. She told them, I'm not a color. See, this is what happens when these woke people come onto a page where people are, what y'all say, awakened. See, this is what happens when the woke people come onto the awakened platform. They sound crazy. They look crazy. These are the same people that's going to come to your crops and try to steal from your crops. You're going to have took the time to plant your gardens and your farms and all this time to prepare, and they're going to be the ones that come begging. And they're going to have on them same Chelsea boots, them same skinny jeans, that same Kamala t-shirt. They probably put it inside out, the same Black Lives Matter mask, and that same Stay Black and Die fitted cap. Same thing. Same thing. So what we got to do is we cannot listen to the media. Now we can watch the media to get some information, but we can't take it as gospel. When you take the media as gospel, you're going to think that everybody white's racist. And that everybody that's melanated is oppressed. You're going to think that. They never tell you how great our people were. They only focus on slavery and oppression. They never show you us owning businesses. They never highlight all the great things we've done. They only tell you about us being slaves and about us being oppressed. That's why they only show you pictures of slavery and the civil rights movement. That's it. They don't show you none, all the other stuff, all the greatness we did, all the stuff we own, all the stuff we created, all the stuff they never talk about the greatness because they want you to walk around and feel inferior. They want you to walk around and feel like you are lesser than. They want you to look at white people and blame them because you're failing in life. They want you to walk around and simply be black. They want you to check that black box so you can be inferior. And then I'm telling y'all again, God did not create us to be a color. You cannot describe, define, or identify a person based on a color. And so when you jump into this whole black matrix, I call it the Blatrix, when you hop into this Blatrix, they got you. Now when they get on TV and tell you, go down to the FEMA camps because you're black, you're going to go. Go down to the green zone because you're black, you're going to go. Get the snake bite because your people got it, you're going to do it. Listen, I love you all. I thank y'all. I was supposed to be on here for an hour, maybe 15 minutes, but I gave y'all 2 hours. I thank y'all, and y'all have a blessed day. Even y'all trolls. All right, YouTube. I love y'all. Thank you.